My lovely assistant Brooke here will be my scribe. So the purpose of resiliency of a community center is pretty obvious, a place to meet for the community. So in looking at that, we're really trying to get a shovel in the dirt and get something going as soon as possible. In doing that research, realized that there's, of course, a lot of ideas. A lot of different people have different ideas of what a community center would involve, what things would be added to it, how that would happen. So we went and talked to the city, and the city has plans that they've started on, they've been working with. We also went to the POA, and the POA would consider building a community center. If we as a group voted on it, then they would dedicate funds to it, depending on how we voted on it. There was also a consideration of going out into land that wasn't involved with POA or the town and putting up a building there. And it came up to our group, and then we presented it to other liaisons, and we came up with this as a next step to go to. Because there was already process in motion with the town, we felt it may be best just to support what was happening. Yes, it might take longer. It may take longer than we would like. But the point of a community center is about community. It's not just a building. We'd rather have community than a building, and perhaps we can have both. So the process of the town, as we see it now, is they have funding to do a master plan on a section of land that the town owns. They're already in process they've hired someone to create a master plan, and then they want to get grants from that master plan, get a community center on this land, library on this land, and also trails from behind the school or around the school, from this land to the other school. And so as liaisons, we agreed to change our format from getting a shovel in the ground to really supporting the process that the town is working on. And by doing that, maybe it takes a couple of years, but by doing that and becoming involved in that, we actually become more of a community. And then when we have a community center, we've got something that we've all worked on, supported, and hopefully accomplished this time. So that's basically where we're at right now. And what we're looking for in the group is just one, to get information from what the town is doing, to get input from what people want, and then to communicate, just to be more of a communication liaison for all the community working together to actually fulfill a project. So that's what we're working on. And for people who want to be a part of that, coming to our groups, being on an email list, those are all things that can be helpful, just so we can disseminate information. Open for comments.
Yeah, I'm sorry to do this again, y'all. But you know, that young man in the back that talked about everything he got is available to the community. And it inspired me to look this up. And I've actually found this in most scriptures, including the Bible, Torah, Quran. It's from Acts, 4th chapter, 32 verse, starting and go to 35th verse. And the congregation of those who believed were of one heart and soul, and not one of them claimed that anything belonging to him was his own, but all things were common property to all. And with great power the apostles were given witness to the resurrection of the Lord, and abundant grace was upon them all. For there was not a needy person among them, for all who were owners of land or houses would sell them and bring the proceeds and lay them at the feet, and they would be distributed to each as any had need. Now, I know we can't do that, but we can think about it as a value as we discuss these things, that this most salient thing is, what are we going to do for the least of ours?
hard to follow up that, but I know that the medical center or clinic was given to you. Have you got any plans for that?
What?
A medical center or a clinic?
I have no idea what's up.
It was one of the groups that did not have enough people to
Oh, it's part of their.
to be part of the community center.
We haven't really dealt with that.
Well, that's a pretty important issue.
So what she's referring to, during the conference, there were more groups that, people voted with their feet, and then some were adopted by other groups. So I would suggest if that is, obviously that's an important thing in the community. So I think perhaps if more people were to support the community center, attention could be paid to that. And so, yeah. Other comments, questions?
So, we're talking about a community center, and I've heard talk about medical. I mean, could that be incorporated? Health, a health center. And I just have a comment about the health issue. We have medical health and we have mental health. And you just wait and see. People don't get their meds. You're going to have more chaos than you can possibly imagine. I mean, it's serious. And people on these medications are really messed up. And I know. I've been doing this for 10 years. And it's a bad scene. And I'm working on getting my son off all his meds so he's not part of that problem. But it's going to be a big issue. And, a community center, the center, it's the center of everything, right? And that's a big responsibility. I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say. Just, we're going to be taking care of each other. That's what it's all about.
Thank you very much, and Lars has been doing a good job trying to do the same stuff that Grange is doing for a while. But I want to just let everybody know that I believe the community center encompasses all 8 of the action groups that we're working on at CBR here. And I think that if everybody coalesces into the commons, we'll probably end up with some land that we can build on. This is something I believe is probably the most important thing in the community for us to gather. We don't have a place large enough for the community to gather. So my question for you guys would be, why would you wait for the town of Crestone, who's already denied 3 attempts? Why don't we work together and just get it done?
Homataki, I said really quick. Thank you, Nathan. That's really good points. That's what I want to say is community building. That's a great idea, but community really starts by turning around and opening your door and looking at your neighbor, at your people, your elders that have a leaky roof. That's our community building. Fix our neighbor's roof. We'll get closer. We can help each other. Ahomataki, I said.
Good point. There's community buildings and community building, yes? All right, last comment.
I accidentally discovered an interesting piece of information I was going to share with Lars, but I just decided to share it with everybody. And the town has a grant for their community center. They, in all likelihood, unless we strike gold again, will not have the matching funds for that grant. And a way to bring the 2 communities together, and there's probably more than 2, but we'll just say 2 for right now, to bring them together, being able to help get the matching funds might be an ace in the hole for the community center group. because the town's not going to have enough sales tax revenue to do that.